The consequences for Black Americans joining ICE protest. This is the unspoken why. So, everyone keeps saying, why don't we see Black Americans at the ICE protests? And why didn't we see a lot of Black Americans at the No Kings protest? And well, we're going to address that today, guys. We're going to address that today. We're going to get into it because I have not really seen someone address this head on directly the way that I'm going to do today. And some of you guys are not going to like what I'm going to say today. I'm just going to be honest. And some of you guys are just going to be so happy that somebody finally said it and said it in the way that I think is really going to resonate with you, where you're going to be like, I need to send this video to as many people as possible. So buckle up, folks. You are along for the ride. But before we get into it, if you're new here, welcome to the channel. If you like what you hear, click that like button, hit subscribe, and click that bell for notifications to boost the channel in the algorithm. And if you're a return viewer and subscriber, thank you so much for supporting the channel. So we have fought and died in every war in America. We've stood up for every ethnicity in America. We have welcomed everyone in our neighborhoods, from the Indians, the Arabs, the Chinese, supported the Vietnamese and Korean nail salons and beauty supply stores, supported the Mexican food trucks. No one can ever say that we're haters or that we are not supportive of others in any way, shape, or form. That's the farthest from the truth. And we rarely get that support back. So don't let anyone guilt trip you about any of this, and that is real. I just want to say that before we start. Okay? All right, so number one, why we are not really joining ICE protests in mass, we meaning Black people, and the consequences for us Black Americans joining ICE protests. Number one, we can't be deported, but we could be locked up. So Black Americans make up roughly 33% of the state and federal prison population, despite representing only about 13% of the US population. Remember, guys, I told you in another video, I think it's really like 16, but whatever. They keep with the 13. We'll say the 13. So this means that we're significantly overrepresented in the prison system, about 2.5 times the share of the general population. And the disparity appears in jails as well, where about 36% of the jail population is Black. So what happens when Black Americans take on this mission of supporting Hispanics and Latin Americans and Haitians and Jamaicans and whoever else is here illegally, and showing up in mass to ICE protests? What would happen is we'll all be locked up, basically, because we can't be deported, but they can lock us up. And what happens when they lock us up? We lose our job, our life is ruined, we don't have bail money, and it's over. It's game over, right? Number two, carte blanche reason to raid Black neighborhoods and put us under martial law. So we live in a white supremacist society that's always looking to find a problem with us, to handle us, to put us in our place, to keep us down. And if we were to show up in mass to these ICE protests, that would just be like, oh, great. They've taken the bait. They've all showed up to support these people who are not citizens, who don't deserve to be deported. I'm not going to say that they deserve to be deported. It's an individual basis who deserves to be deported. Each person is different. Their situation is different. Everybody's not all the same just because they're illegal immigrants, okay? But if we were to take this on like this, next thing you know, martial law is coming to every Black neighborhood that decided to take on ICE just because they can, just because we have a president that's literally right now sending in the military troops like it's Iraq to Black cities, primarily Black cities. That's literally happening right now. So if we were to take that on, that would be like times 100. That would get turned all the way up. It would be in like every Black city, including Atlanta, certain parts of Los Angeles, the Potomac region, the DMV area, not just DC. It would take fold on a more larger scale because they're able to do that now because, we've showed up and showed out, right? And they're like, oh, great, let's just go put them under martial law. We have a reason to do it. And they always, always, always want to prohibit our rights. So that just really gives them a more of a reason to do it. Number three, The narrative then becomes blacks are rioting and more of a reason to send in troops. Like I said, more of a reason to send in the National Guard. What happens when black people show up in mass to anything if it's not for our own problems? Even if it is for our own problems, honestly. But anytime we show up anywhere, it just becomes about us. And it takes away from other people feeling that this is a real problem and now it's a black problem. Do you understand how this works, right? So, like, if we show up in mass, now it's like it becomes blacks are rioting, blacks are problematic. This is why we have to put them in jail. This is why we don't like black people. Now it becomes about black people and their hate for us and them instigating this hate on Fox News and all these other right wing news sites. And it doesn't even become about the immigrants anymore. This is the truth, because they just love to scapegoat through us, meaning the dominant society. So if we show up, then now it's all about us, right? Oh, they're rioting. This is why we have to keep these blacks under control. This is why we need to send in martial law. This is why we got to lock them up, et cetera, et cetera. This issue of ICE, white Americans need to see what they created. And they are a part of this. Also, the Hispanics that voted for Trump, everybody that voted for Trump, they need to go out there and they need to protest and they need to flex their muscle and they need to go and see and stand for what they took part in creating. Do you know what I mean? Because they are the reason whoever voted for Trump in mass, which was not black women for sure, and not a lot of black men either. I think only like 20%. Most black men did not vote for him, or they just didn't vote at all. A lot of blacks didn't vote at all. We did not vote for Trump in mass. So honestly, if we go out there, then it just becomes the abuse that they're used to seeing, because they're just going to send in the National Guard and abuse us physically, and it's going to be like war on the streets, and then they're just going to play it on the TV, and they're going to say, oh, it's black starting problems again, and they're just used to us being abused, and they're not going to rebel against it. But if white Americans go out there and they stand for this and they protest and they get abused, they're going to feel the pain. And honestly, they have to feel this pain in order for them to wake up and fight back against what their people created. They really do. If they don't go out there and feel the pain, nothing's going to change. They have to get mistreated by these ICE agents. They have to get disrespected, pepper sprayed. They have to feel this in order for them to realize, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this is happening in my country, that this is going down. I can't believe maybe I voted for him and now I'm out here having to defend. Yes, because we did not vote for Trump en masse. We did not. We're not the reason that Trump is president right now. And if it were up to black people, he wouldn't have gotten elected. Maybe no one would have gotten elected, But I'm just saying, it definitely would not have been him, period. So again, blacks, if we go out there and we turn up, then the narrative becomes about us. Then they just pivot to us. They stop talking about the immigrants. They stop talking about all the bad, terrible stuff that the Gestapo is out there doing to the immigrants and these kids, and they're having seizures, and it's just terrible, really. It's really terrible. I'm not saying that it's not terrible. I'm just making the point about why we are not out there in mass and the consequences for us if we do go and show up out there in mass. Okay. Number 4, no reciprocation back. So, folks, are we going to be honest right now? During the George Floyd protest, when we turned up, there were definitely other ethnicities out there. There were whites out there. There were Hispanics out there. There were some Asians out there. But in mass, the reason why the protests were so powerful was because we were out there. A lot of our youth were out there. Okay. But how often is our support for other people being reciprocated? It's rarely reciprocated on the level that we give to them. And this is just the truth. And they don't have to like it, but that's the facts. And a lot of black people feel some kind of way. We feel some kind of way when people want us to fight for them and to fight their fights, but yet they won't fight our fights and they won't fight for us. And sometimes they think they're better than us. And are we going to keep it real or not? Right? Sometimes they think they're better than us. They'll say it out of their own mouths. They'll disrespect us. They'll mistreat us. and still expect us to patronize them and work with them and be nice to them and not be honest and real with them, right? And just be fake about it. But the real reason that, we're not showing up like that is a big part of that is there's no reciprocation back. It's like, for what? Why would I go out there and potentially be arrested for you when you would never do that for me? On any given day, most of these people that are out there protesting would never in their lives go out there and risk their lives to be in jail for you. And this is just how a lot of black folks feel. So understand that's why we're not out there in mass protesting with ICE, and we weren't out there in mass protesting with the No Kings, because again, we did not put Trump in the White House. If it were just black people voting for Trump, he would not have won. So yeah, that's just the truth. Even with the 20% black male vote, he still would not have won. It wouldn't have been enough for him to win if it was just us voting. So it's not our fault. We did not put him there for a second time. All right, so what can you do as a black American? What can you do? I'm going to tell you what you can do, okay? You could be a decent human being. Don't threaten people here illegally saying that you're going to call ICE on them. That's disgusting. I actually think that's disgusting. I don't think you should do that ever, okay? If ICE asks you if you know any illegals around your neighborhood, do not communicate with them. Because imagine if that was the police asking the illegals if they knew where you were. You would not want them to tell on you. You just would not. So it's just, these are just standard like codes here. It's just like, don't be trying to threaten these people or act like how a lot of these white supremacists act towards them. That's not our place. That's not who we are. And it's nasty. It's nasty behavior. What else you could do? If one person is with you, right? And I saw a video like this and I thought this was really interesting. It was a video on TikTok and I saw it was in like Chicago, I think. And it was some black dudes hanging out in the corner. And there was like a Hispanic guy with them. And he was eating his food on the corner with them. And ICE hopped out of an unmarked vehicle, totally nuts. I mean, these guys are nuts. Like, ICE is totally nuts. Totally psycho. Like, unhinged Gestapo behavior, 100%. And I don't approve of it. Okay? So this video is not about me approving of it. Nobody approves of Gestapo behavior. Okay? But anyways, back to the story. So the guy, one of the black guys sees the ICE dude walk up and he basically tells him, hey, like he's with us or whatever. He kind of covers for him and he's got friends there, but this was not a protest. This was like a random neighborhood, a random block. And, ICE is just out here randomly, popping off on people, to take people. It's insane, really. But that's what they're doing. And he just kind of covered for him in that point. So what I will say to you is this. If you're in a situation like this where it's isolated and you are walking with the Most High and God tells you, hey, stand up for that person, right? It's not a raid. It's not like necessarily a raid or it's not like a protest, but it's like an isolated situation like this dude was in the corner with his friends and the Hispanic dude was just there. He just realized in that moment, like, hey, I got to cover for this dude because clearly, he felt probably like I could do this at this time. And sure enough, the ICE agent just walked right back to the car. It was like God. And sometimes God works through you like that. And if you're in a situation like this and God speaks to you and tells you to move and do something, do it. Because we're God beings and he blesses us when we do this, where we get blessed from him. But this is different from showing up to a protest in mass just randomly because you randomly saw a TikTok and just wanted to show up. This is different. This is like ICE came to you. Like ICE came to your corner, right? Hopped out of the car. You're there with your boys and you know that they don't really want that smoke with real G's in the neighborhood. They don't want that. Right. And it just, that Hispanic dude was blessed at that moment because he did that. Right. And the dude just walked away. He's like, yeah, he's with us. He's black, even though they know he's not. But that was them saying to the ICE dudes, like, you don't want this smoke. And they didn't, So like I said, if God tells you to stand up in this moment, in an isolated moment like this, do it. Absolutely. Always listen to your heart. Okay. But understand this is a law and order country that's always looking to abuse you as a black person, lock you up first before everybody else. So if you show up, then it becomes about you. They want to lock you up, throw away the key, you lose your job, your life is ruined, and nobody's going to come bail you out. None of these other groups of people that are out there protesting, the Asians, the Hispanics, the Muslims, the Haitians, the Jamaicans, love y'all, cool, but you're not going to show up and bail us out when we're out there protesting for you. I mean, you're just not. And there's a precedent for this. I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm saying this because it's real. And we've got to be real, whether people like it or feel it or not. They're going to get that real. So this is about self-preservation. And yeah, they're definitely gearing up to come directly at us again because they're still mad about the George Floyd uprisings. Yeah, the dominant society is pissed because we turned up for George Floyd as we should have because they literally killed him on camera. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we showed up for him because it was just so damning. And then not only did we show up, but we had a mass movement worldwide because that's what we do, FBA. And I get it. They want to channel that energy, right? Black American, that 400-year Black American energy, that turn up energy, that resistance survival energy, right? They want to turn that up, right? Because they know that has real merit, that has real heat, But this is not our fight, right? It's not. And again, we don't get that reciprocation. When we do stand up for people, we rarely get that reciprocation. So we had the whole world on one accord in the name of the lack of our humanity that we receive from this country. So they're already coming at us, really. I mean, they're going to come at us again directly. I mean, it's bound to happen because that's what they do here. And really, that was their whole goal anyway, I don't know if you guys saw the video of them breaking into buildings, in Chicago at 3 a.m, kidnapping people, putting them in zip ties, right? And these were blacks and Hispanics, and I guess maybe some whites, but mostly blacks and Hispanics, right? And they were asking the blacks, are you American? And obviously, they know if they're American, so that in itself is a joke, because certain people know who's American or not. Like, it's just very clear. It's very clear who's American, especially when they start talking, what they're wearing, even the look in their face, right? Like, we all know each other, black, white, Hispanic. We all know who's really American here. It's not hard. At least for me, it's not hard, But I grew up with every race around me, so I guess that's why it's not hard. But maybe for some people it is, but for me it's not. So they were asking black folks like if they had priors after they found out they were American. So the goal, of course, is to lock up anybody who they deem undesirable. So they put everybody in zip ties in the building. And then they ask, are you American? Yeah. You show your passport, whatever, your ID, yeah, whatever. You see the last name, I'm American. Like, let's stop the cap. But then they're like, oh, but do you have priors? So this was happening in Chicago. So they're already kind of like coming for us. The goal was to come for us kind of, in my opinion, through the immigrant stance. It's like they act like they're coming for the immigrants, but really they're coming for us and anybody else they deem undesirable, including poor whites eventually. So some of these blacks, if they have priors, they took them to jail. They said, hey, I can't take you to jail if you got priors. So I thought you were like coming here for illegal immigrants. And now you're taking everybody and you're putting them in zip ties and you're asking, okay, you're American, great, but do you have priors? So the goal is basically to ruin as many black and brown lives as possible. Okay, this is the Gestapo, ISIS goal. But to go out there for no reason other than unchecked emotional rage fueled by social media, when you have no lawyer, you have no money, you have no support, is a fast way to end up in jail with no job. That's just the truth. So we've got to prepare for their next direct attack on us and not get caught up in everyone else's problems. And I know this is very hard for a lot of people to hear because they're so used to us being their Superman. They need like the Negro Superman to fly in and come and save the day and bring that legitimate grievance energy, resistance, survival energy that we have, But yeah, we are literally holding on for dear life right now. Black folks, the black community, we are not in a good space right now. In any way, shape, and form. We are really trying to get our shit together right now. And selfishness is something that we rarely practice, but we actually need to practice more of because we're very selfless people. So that's why we need to actually practice some selfishness because we are extremely selfless and we always give to others. But unfortunately, that has gotten us stomped on. And that's the truth. So if you were wondering why you don't see Black Americans at ICE protests in mass, again, I know some of us are there, but why you don't see us there in mass? You didn't see us there at the No Kings protest. Again, I know some of us were there, but you didn't see us in mass. You're not seeing us out here in mass because we literally have a president right now who sent in the National Guard to DC when there's no problem in DC. And the mayor of DC came out with all the numbers showing you via the paperwork that there is no problem with DC that constitutes the National Guard being brought there, but they're there to harass Black people. And in Memphis, right, they're there to keep the peace, quote, and some people in Memphis are happy that they're there, but again, that's not normal. And they're not there to really help you. They're there to keep an eye on you. They're there to potentially arrest you if you mess up. They're there to potentially harass you if they feel in the mood to. They don't really care about us, you know? So this is what we're dealing with right now. And then they want to send them maybe to New York, but I don't think they're going to do New York anymore. But you get the point. Like, we're already dealing with a lot right now, and we got to get our together. So we have to focus on ourselves. And I know this is hard to hear, but you're hearing it. But listen, if you want to go to an ICE protest, be my guest. If you're a Black person and you want to support and you want to show up, be my guest. Do what you feel in your heart is best for you to do. Okay, so if you're Black and you're listening to this and you're like, I showed up and I supported because we have to do that because these are our people and blah, 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 blah. Listen, if that's how you feel, that's your prerogative. I personally don't agree. I'm not going to show up, but if you want to do that, I support you. Want to do whatever you feel like you need to do for your heart and whatever is in your heart. But listen, do you have money? If you get locked up, do you have money? Do you have bail money? Do you have a lawyer? Do you have a face mask? Are you prepared for the consequences? And that's all I'll ask you. And are the people that you are protesting with, are they going to support you if you get locked up? Are any of them going to bail you out when you get locked up? Are those people that potentially you're saving, maybe, I don't know, maybe possibly from getting deported, are they going to put money on your books when you're in jail? Are they going to come help you take care of your kids if you're in jail? I mean, these are real questions here because really we have no real friends. We don't have any real friends. We don't have no ride or die friends. All we have is each other. And that's the truth. And that's why you don't see us out there like that. And if you choose to be out there, I just pray that you have people that support you, that'll bail you out, that'll ride for you, that you're out there protesting with and supporting. And that's all I got, guys. That's all I got. Let me know what you guys think about this below. Leave your comments and remember to ask why.